Hey guys, and welcome back to another Naraka Bladepoint guide. In today's video, we'll be giving you some information needed to get you started in Naraka Bladepoint. Before we get into the video, make sure to smash that like button and turn on notifications so you can get alerted for future guides and videos I have planned. Also, make sure to follow me on other social medias and to join the fam to keep up with the content. With that out of the way, let's get right into the video. Naraka offers a variety of playstyles when it comes to the selection of weapons, heroes, and abilities you can use. The fights of the highest ranked players can be broken down into several fundamentals you should start working on if your goal is to improve in Naraka. Some of these fundamentals include light attacks, focus attacks, and parries. Light attacks and focus attacks come in two varieties. There are horizontal attacks and vertical ones. When inputting LMB or left mouse button, it will result in a horizontal attack, while inputting RMB or right mouse button will result in a vertical one. There are also 3-hit combos often called 1-2-3s for each respective input type, as well as a focus attack for each. For 1-2-3s, all you have to do is click the left mouse button or the right mouse button 3 times and it will do a combo that ends with a blue focus attack. You can also activate a focus attack without inputting 2 light attacks by pressing and holding their respective mouse button. This is often useful because blue focus will provide an armor that stops you from being staggered by enemy light attacks. But keep in mind, these blue focus attacks can be parried. Speaking of parries, let's move on to the last foundation of Naraka's combat. A common question among newer players is what are parries and how someone makes them drop their weapon. Parries are a counter attack that you can use to counter focus attacks of any weapon in the game. Similar to how armor from the blue attack will allow you to bypass the light attack stagger, parries will usually negate the damage of focus attacks and force the opponent to drop their weapon. Pressing L and B after you land a successful parry will initiate a counter attack where the enemy will be forced to take an extremely powerful hit. Balancing out these 3 basics of Naraka's combat will lead you to having more consistent, successful fights, and honing these will allow you to grow into a higher tier player. Picking the right hero for you in Naraka can be quite challenging. As of this video, we currently have 11 heroes with 3 skills and ultimates each. This means a wide variety of playstyles and uses. I'll briefly explain what each hero generally does and how they are commonly played. This does not mean that there are no other ways to play them, so make sure to try them out and experiment with who you like. Viper is going to be your more aggressive CC heavy engage character. Her kit consists of silences, stuns, and knockbacks. Viper plays well into team environments, but can also hold her own in one-on-one duels. Tumulch is going to be your control type character. What I mean by this is when a Tumulch enters the play, he's going to make space for himself and his team. He utilizes Sand Wisp that knock enemies up into the air and a massive tornado that allows him and his teammates safe passage in and out of a fight. Mitari is going to be your classic assassin type character. She uses teleports and invisibilities in order to shape the battle the way she wants. In team play, she can be used to shape the outcome of fights with specific team comps, or going into specific team comps. Tarka is going to be your flashy, fun character. He has a bunch of fast moving skills, including his instant counter Fs and his agility accelerating ultimates. He also has an F skill that allows him to shoot massive AoE fireballs at your opponent and cause burning damage. Kurumi is the classic support of the game. She is able to keep her and her teammates alive and even bring them back from being knocked down. Kurumi's kit will consist of a healing based Link using her F skills, and an ultimate that can heal armor, health, or even both. Tianhai is the first of the Transformers and makes a giant commotion when he's in his Titan form. For the most part, Tianhai plays around using his ultimate skill to transform into a giant Vajra warrior. He can then use this skill to grab, slam, and stomp enemies into the ground. Yodohime is our first crossover character, and she is the bane of all Tianhais. Yodo plays around using her skills to combo opponents and break apart teamfights. Valda is one of the first characters introduced to punish opponents from making poor decisions on placements and plays. A Valda can easily break up engagements from enemies and create a zone of defense for her and her allies using her ultimate skill. She sees the most success in team play as of today's meta, but can definitely hold her own in one-on-ones. Yushan is the second of the Transformer duo. He takes on a more offensive role with his ability to get out of combos using his F skill, and takes on a second life as a terracotta soldier when nearing death using his ultimate skills. He can create a massive gap in damage against the enemy team utilizing his F skill in his ultimate form. Wu Chen is the second support of the game, focusing less on healing his allies and more on taking them out of sticky situations. Wu Chen is able to place portals that he can reactivate to bring him and his allies away from danger. He is also the only character who can interact and move Karns or knocked out allies. Justina is the ice-based character of the game. Justina shows her strength with her defensive and restorative capabilities. Justina currently plays around using her F skill to make herself immune to damage for a short amount of time and making opponents back up using her ultimate skills. Similar to League of Legends' old rune system, we have the Glyph system. Glyphs are allocated buffs that add to your in-game stats. They're a little bit more complex as they come down to the decision of the player on where they choose to place them, but there are some general pages you can follow as an outline. Worst case, you can also auto-allocate your glyphs and it'll try and give you the best possible page with the current glyphs you have. Another function of the Glyphs tab is upgrading your glyphs. You can select glyphs to upgrade and spend Tay to do so. This will increase the stats gained from the glyph to further the advantage you gain from them. At level 54, you will have unlocked all notches of the glyph board. Now that you know how to get some bonus stats out of the game, let's look at endgame. In Naraka, we have a perk system that works in-game called Soul Jades. These Soul Jades come in three forms: Stat Jades, Special Jades, and Weapon Jades. The simplest of the Jades is the Stat Jades. These will provide you with a percentage stat increase to the basic stats like attack, melee defense, health, and range defense. These Jades come in two rarities and provide increasing stat gains with each tier. Up next is Special Jades. These Jades will not only give you a stat increase, but will also change the way your character will do certain actions or interact with the world. Up next we have Weapon Jades. These Jades will change how your weapon works or interacts with inputs or combos. One example of this is with the Earthshaker Soul Jade for the Greatsword. If you charge up to stage 3 focus with L and B, you will normally do a short range spin that moves quite slow and is easily countered. However, with the Earthshaker Soul Jade, you will spin much faster, have more rotations, and do an AoE shockwave at the end of the attack. The world in Naraka has a variety of things to offer to keep you occupied as you traverse the map and get better loot to take home the W. When you first load into the map, you will be presented with the option to choose your drop location. This will be randomized every game and provide 5 major loot zones and up to 5 gold zones. The high loot zones, or hot drops in this game, are Sunwing's Rest, Eventide Temple, Celestra, Shipwreck, and Shadow Jade Mine. These zones will always have a large amount of troves and typically have high amounts of gold troves. Gold zones are randomly selected zones that increase the chances for higher tier loot to drop, more gold troves, and increase chances for quests to spawn. Speaking of quests and troves, let's cover those. Troves are Naraka's version of crates or chests which drop you loot. These troves come in 3 varieties, including blue, gold, and green. Blue troves will be the most common and will drop any range of loot from common to legendary. Gold troves are similar to blue ones but have a higher chance to drop rare tier items or higher. Green troves will take the place of a gold trove when they spawn, but will provide you with a stash of soul jades, resources, and slot expansion bags. Moving on to questing, in Naraka we have 2 types of quests. The first is bounties, which when picked up will mark a player or AI in the lobby, and your goal is to eliminate the player within the allotted time. If you successfully do so, you will be rewarded with coins that can be used at shops around the map. The reverse of this is also true, however. You can be marked for elimination, and if you survive the entire duration, you will be rewarded with coins. The other type of quest is what I call tasks. These tasks will be golden scrolls that provide you with a passive quest to complete. These quests will typically involve praying to a statue, finding a specific chest, or hitting a bell multiple times. The last section of this guide is where you'll learn how to chase and escape enemies who are running. Movement is one of the key things that makes Naraka unique to other battle royales. In this game, there's a variety of ways you can implement movement, but one of the best ways to start learning movement is knowing what they are and how to do them. In terms of movement and combat, the number one thing you'll be using is dodging. The 2 types of dodges we have in Naraka are tap dodges and hold dodges. You can execute tap dodges simply by inputting a directional key and tapping shift. Doing this will grant you with iframes, or a short amount of time where you will not be able to take damage or be targeted. The next type of dodge is hold dodging. This is done the same way as tap dodging, but will involve holding shift instead of tapping it. When doing this type of dodge, you will be sacrificing your iframe window in order to buffer an input, which means the input will be executed as soon as possible exiting your dodge. These are often used in combat to speed up the pacing or to keep you from taking damage. The next piece of movement you can use in or out of combat is attacking out of a grapple. When you activate a grapple, you are able to press left click during the grapple to initiate a special aerial attack. These attacks push enemies back and can give you an early advantage as well as cover more distance with your grapple. The final bit of movement I have for you today is called scale rushing. When you attach yourself to a wall or ceiling, you can press left mouse click to initiate the charge of a scale rush. Scale rushing will cover a massive amount of distance in any direction you release it and will collide with opponents, dealing damage. Many times in areas packed with structures or buildings, you can use this to escape from someone chasing you or hunt down someone that's running from you. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. If you would like to see more Naraka gameplay or content, feel free to come over to my Twitch or TikTok where I'll be regularly posting, as well as subscribing to my YouTube channel. I have many guides planned for this channel as well as future content including collabs. Hope you all have a great day, and until next time.